We'll show you the cable routing. This is on a 52-inch ZK. So we've got the GrassFlap installed here. The cable routes up around this edge. Over to here, we've got it attached with a little magnet wire holder. I'll show you more about that in a minute. Then from there, we come up through here where you can see it. This drops down through. There's a little triangle-shaped piece. You can see where the cable runs through there. Then over here to the back side, another view of that. Where you can see it. Triangle-shaped piece. There's the cable coming through it. There's my hand. Comes through there, comes up to the front, to the foot pan rather, to the back, and then up and attaches to the pedal here. Next thing we want to do is go ahead and install the pedal. So the pedal is going to use a couple of carriage bolts. That's when we're putting it on a ZK. So for the ZK, we get 2 carriage bolts, and there's a couple of options here. You can mount the pedal pointed this direction, depending on the size of the deck and the routing of the cable, or in some cases you can point it this way. It's going to depend on the cable routing and that. Most of the time, though, your best cable routing is going to be this direction, so we're going to go ahead and install it this way. We've got 2 bolts here. And when you install it, you want to set it over far enough that, so basically on the ZK, you'll have 4 open holes and 4 open holes here. So you put the pedal this direction, and then you can orient it a couple different spots here, depending on how much of a turn you want on or how far over you want it pointed. We're going to go with it this direction here, though. Once you have the carriage bolts in place, we're going to go ahead and put our flange nuts on the bottom. Go ahead and tighten these up. Next thing we want to do is go ahead and connect our cable, and the cable is roughly laid in place where we want it to go. First thing we have to do is go ahead and remove jam nut number 1. So we're going to go ahead and spin that one off. And we also want to make sure that jam nut number 2 is mostly all the way back on the threaded fitting. Our spring is going to be disconnected, so we'll take that off. Now, so we're going to lift this pedal up out of our way, put the wire in first, and then I usually just get the fittings started in a little bit so I can still reach in here and get the nut started. So you're going to want to get the nut started and put it on maybe a 1/4 inch or so, not too far on, because the other thing that you have to do is you have to get this rubber boot and shove it back in place onto the end of the cable. So it takes a pretty good push there, but you can get it seated back on. Okay, now once that's done, then we'll go ahead and spin the nut in the rest of the way. I'm going to just snug it up for right now. We'll have to remember to come back and tighten that up with a 1/2 inch wrench in a moment. Okay, now, next thing we need to do is we need to take our clevis. We're going to slip our clevis onto the end of the wire. Once it's in place, then we're going to go ahead and put our 1/4 inch pin in on this end. And get that clevis in place. I'm going to go ahead and hook this spring to get it out of my way. It goes into this little catch right here. We're going to put our cotter pin in. Wrap the cotter pin all the way around. Now we want to go ahead and zip tie the cable in position. We're going to zip tie the cable into position here on the ZK 52-inch cable routes between these two holes and up around this edge here. We're going to go ahead and put the cover back in position. With the cover in place, this cable routes past the zip tie and up around this corner and up to the grass flap.